I honestly think that all in all, by this last episode, we understand that each of these women were each other in some way or another. If you guys are new here, my name is Ashley, and this is my sweet perspective where I give my take on all things TV and movie related. Back to talk about episodes 5 and 6 of Expats. And you guys, this whole series to me was a slow burn, and it took me through a range of emotions. Like you feel grief and sympathy, then you kind of feel anger and like annoyance in moments, and then I don't know, it takes you through the whole range, I will say that. But it was beautifully acted. I will say that I think the culmination of everything at the end, although we don't get the resolution we think we want, it's still full resolution in my eyes. Uh yeah, if you have not watched these episodes yet, but you watch the show, go ahead and watch because there's going to be spoilers. And I'll put that in a banner here that there are spoilers. But yeah, let's get right into it. And I will cover 5, then go right into 6, and we'll just do it that way. So, episode 5, we get to see how the other half lives. Okay. We know how I felt the expats, all of these, affluent women, have treated the people in their lives, especially the people in service to them, as just accessories, right? Like accessories or like a piece of furniture or whatever. They have never, in my eyes, taken a real interest in who these people are. So we see some differences in this episode. We get to meet some real life people. I believe it starts out with Puri, right? And she wants to be, it's not American Idol, but it's something to that effect. The next best thing or some singing competition. It has an amazing voice, honey. She's singing Adele down. All right. And so we kind of see her. We are, kind of introduced to another character, who's kind of going through the same thing. She feels alone. She's got a husband and kids, but yet still feels really, really alone. We see Hillary, and of course we see Margaret and Mercy. Mercy got a girlfriend now. Okay. So there's that, and they kind of run that whole thing, breaking into David's hotel room so they can go swimming together and live their best life. Margaret is still, feeling how she feels, but she tells Clark, we can finally go. We can leave. And so we get to also see Essie's point of view about everything. And she honestly, because they're having, conversations with each other, the service people are. And she's like, I just can't believe she let Gus go with a stranger. Like, what kind of mother does that? I loved how we got to see how they really felt. There's also political unrest going on regarding suffrage, or voters' rights, I believe, for the people. And we see a young man who goes to a protest, and this is Mercy's new girlfriend's friend, um, or family member. I'm not sure of their exact connection. And he just doesn't come back. His mom is warning him, and she goes out looking for him, and she can't find him. I think she might have found him in the jailhouse, but we're just kind of getting to see again another experience of Hong Kong, and I really, really enjoyed it. Hillary and Puri, I believe, the one who's auditioning. Forgive me if I'm getting these names wrong. And so she's, Hillary's like, let me do your makeup. There's this beautiful dress. You have to be all ready for the competition, tomorrow or whenever it was. And for a moment, I was like, oh, Hillary really has a heart. Hillary really has a heart and cares about something other than herself in that David, okay? But the next morning it's like it never happened. She's like, could you bring me my coffee and my whatever, blah blah blah. And it was really like, yeah, that was just a moment. And I think in that moment, Puri had that realization that this is all it'll ever be. You know what I mean? This is not my friend. And sis, it's not your friend. None of these ladies, I don't think, have the capacity. I do still think it's so sick that they haven't bothered to learn the language. They haven't made real true authentic connections with the people who are a part of their lives on a daily basis. And it speaks to so much more than just classism. I think it just speaks to character as a person. But y'all, that was probably it for episode 5. Let's go right into episode 6. And this is where it all goes down. Okay. And I really liked this episode because it gave us I felt like I got closure even without the closure. So I think the closure everybody wanted was, where is Gus? Is Gus alive? Can we find Gus? And I honestly don't think Lulu, the writer, right? I don't think that was her original intention in this story. I think it was to show how much alike people are than different. You know what I mean? Like, I think that there's more that kind of connects people than doesn't, and how each of them were having their own, lived experiences simultaneously revolving around a single event. And all blaming themselves in one way or another, right? All dealing with that. I'm not worth any more than this. They had so much guilt, so much shame surrounding whatever it was, right? Hillary with her marriage and the lack of children, her past haunting her. Margaret with losing her child, and then also I feel like neglecting her other children and family, and kind of always being reminded by that by her kids, because baby, that daughter read her the riot act. And then of course Mercy just feeling guilty and that she's not worth love or a healthy relationship or any sort of support. You know what I mean? And so Mercy, we know she's very pregnant. Her mom comes in and is like, "You got fat." Or no, 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 no. She's like, "You're fat." She did say you're fat. And Mercy's like, "Well, no, I just got fat." She's like, "Mercy, don't lie to me. You're pregnant." And she's like, "Yeah." And they got a moment, and her mom got to validate and hold her and let her know that she's okay. And I do hope that that gave Mercy a fresh start, because I do feel as though the brunt of the blame was placed on her shoulders. And while she was responsible, she wasn't the only one responsible. So there's that. Hillary's father's dying, and we all know from a couple episodes ago we found out that he was an abuser. Okay, and so we also find out this episode that he also had another family. Okay, a brand new family where he was the perfect father and husband to them apparently, but not to her. So resentful and wild, she goes into him on his deathbed basically, and is like, "I'm pregnant." And I'm going to tell him what kind of man you were. And the father was like, "Oh, I'm so proud. I'm so proud." And she was like, "Yeah, I'm going to tell you how you were a maniac and you beat my mom and you did all these other things." And he was like, and so he gets carted off to surgery. And next thing we know, so she flies back to Hong Kong. David picks her up from the airport and they have a talk. And he's talking freely about Mercy's baby. And they've made a choice to divorce. And I think it's a fresh start for both of them. We also find out that Hillary never really wanted children. He said, "I thought you didn't want them with me." She said, "I don't want them with anyone." Right. And that's definitely stemming from her past pain and what she's experienced in her own life. And so finally, Margaret finally, I told you guys before, gives Clark the okay that they can get out of town. They can go back home, right? Now Essie is like, "Good, I can be with my family, like my kids. I can go and be with my grandkids and my children, and I can live my best life." And so she thinks she's going, right? And so Margaret sits her down and is like, "Look, we're gonna be moving." And Essie's like, "Great, I know, I'm so happy." And she's like, "Well, I want you to come too." And she's like, and I guess she said, "I can't turn down this money," but we can tell she really doesn't want to go. So they're packing up to go. They're in the airport, and all of a sudden, Margaret's like, "I can't." And Clark was like, "I know." Essie was like, "I know." But the kids, I mean, the son understood, but that daughter was like, "No, you're a terrible mother. Like, you're just leaving us." And she is. And I wonder if she'll ever come to grips with that you can't stop living for your other kids. They're here, and I get that it's the unknown, right? And I think she thinks she'll find Gus, and I pray that she does. I like that it leaves it open for us to think about that. But yeah, it was tough to watch, but Clark had this understanding. I don't know what that means for their marriage. I don't know what that means for the family, how long this will be, if she'll ever get over it, and she might not. Some parents who lose children in this way, um don't. You know what I mean? So that'll be a thing. And so finally everyone gets to see each other face to face. Margaret gets to meet with Mercy, Mercy, Hillary with Margaret, right? They all sit down face to face, and they basically let each other off the hook. They apologize and they forgive. which I think was probably the best part of the whole series. I think because they had held something in for so long and they finally got to get it off of their chest and communicate freely without fear and without shame. And it was like, let me just apologize and let me also forgive myself. And I think that was really, really beautiful. Great way to end this limited series. Drop it in the comments below. Did you watch it? Were you into it? I'd love to know your thoughts, you guys. But if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see y'all in the next video. Bye.